children are to be doing better than the last. That's what not only California is about, but America is about. But it is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. Not only because of the affordability crisis that we see, not only here in California, which we felt it first, before other states, the housing crisis, the healthcare crisis, the environmental crisis. We felt it in California first. Now that affordability crisis spread. And it spread years ago, but people are feeling it more acutely today than ever. But now we're in a situation where we have an individual in the White House who doesn't understand what America is about. That he's sending in ICE and CBP as his own national police force to intimidate, to cause fear and division in order to create more political power for himself. He doesn't believe in the rule of law. He doesn't believe that we, the people, is the government. He believes that he is a king and that there's only one voice that matters, and that's his. So this is the moment we're living in, and we need somebody who understands how to fight against this guy. He's more dangerous than the first term because he understands that in order to get what he wants sycophants in the White House with him. And anybody who stands in his way, gives information that contradicts his public narrative, he fires them. So this year, listen, I believe we're going to win the House of Representatives. But he's going to become more belligerent, more aggressive, because he's not somebody that backs down. He doesn't admit a mistake. He only attacks. So the next governor has to be somebody that can fight the fight, toe to toe, and make sure that California is protected, but also your voices are represented at that level. So Eric understands that. But he also understands the working class background. His mother and father were working class individuals who grew up in Dublin. He went to multiple high schools, moved around, and then he ended up going off to college. But he came back to be, he tried to be a city planner, and one of his mentors told him to come back to the city of Dublin, and they told him no, you're to go to be on the Arts Commission first. So he started off on the Arts Commission, then he ended up becoming a city planner, and then becoming a city council member. He ends up running for office, meeting a wife, having 3 kids. And this is how Eric and I bonded when I first got to Congress, was that he was just a normal guy. Somebody that you can watch football with. He likes the 49ers, don't hold that against him. But he's somebody that you can watch football with and hang out with. So when my wife and I decided to have our son, his name is Hodge, Eric was somebody that gave me great advice on what it's like to be a dad. And that's one of the most important things for Eric. He is a dad of 3 kids, a devoted husband, and understands that his job is to make sure that they have a better life than he had. He's done pretty well, but his kids and other kids can also do better. So that's what Eric is going to do. He's going to come to Sacramento. I worked in Sacramento. I was a state assembly member with a fresh set of eyes to how do you kind of unrig the system in Sacramento and make sure that it works for every part of California. And that's what we need to tackle affordability, housing, childcare, the environmental crisis, and to once again make us the Golden State. So with that, let's put our hands together and welcome the next governor of California, Eric Swalwell.
Thanks, buddy. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight. Yeah, thank you. Hey, nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Yeah, thank you. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for coming tonight. Yeah, hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, thanks for coming. Nice to see you guys again. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna get one of those hats. Thank you. Thanks for coming. How are you? Hey, Sarah.
Good to see you.
You too.
You better
Thanks for
win
coming.
this.
I'm gonna win. We're going to win. Thank you. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Of course. Nice to see you. How are you? Yeah. Eric, how are you doing, sir? Nice to meet you. Yeah, you too. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for coming. Yeah. Bang, bang, Niner gang. This is one.
Welcome back to Southern California.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, Eric, nice to see you. How are you? Hey. Oh my God.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. I want to
Thanks
help
for
you.
coming. I need your help.
I want to help you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Will you help us?
I'll help you.
Okay. Will you vote for me more than anything? Okay. Thank you. Hey.
Hi, Eric. I'm Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
It's so great to
Thanks
meet
for
you
coming.
finally.
I'm all in.
Thank you. I'm a big
Of course.
supporter. Big
Thank
supporter.
you. You live here?
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Hey, sir. How are you?
Hey, bud.
Nice to meet you, man. How are you? Thank you. Thank you. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. Yeah. How are you? Sean. You got it? Yeah. Hey. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, man. Hey, how are you, sir? Thanks for helping us tonight. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for helping. Yeah. Of course. Thank you for that. Literally did in 3 days. Yeah, thank you again. Yeah, thanks for helping us back there. Thank you guys again. Thank you. Yeah, all right, sir. You guys are representing in the front row here. Thank you. How are you? Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. How are you? Thank you again. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. How are you? Hey, sir, how are you? Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Hello. How are you? Thank you. Hi, man. How are you doing?
College Democrats.
Say it again.
The president of the Eastern Merced College Democrats.
Okay. Thank
We'd love
you.
to connect with you.
Okay.
You
will.
What I have you
All right.
said too.
Swalwell@gmail is the number. Hey, thank you.
See you so much on MS
Thank
now.
you.
I
I
think
have the night
know
off.
you.
I have the night off. Thank you. I like that. Thank you. How are you? Thank you. Hey, thanks, man. How are you? All right. I made a full lap. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at the baby. Yeah. Thank you. Jimmy Gomez. Raise your right hand if our country and California is in trouble. Now keep that hand up if this, and put up your left hand if it's in the most trouble you've ever seen in your life. I want to tell you a story about a couple. In Algona, Iowa, lived a man named Eric, not me, and he was married to a woman named Vicky. Vicky, like many of you, took any job she could find during the day so she could bring home enough groceries at night. Eric was the chief of police until he was fired by a corrupt council because he wouldn't reverse cases and parking tickets. So when their dreams were blown up and dashed, they went where big dreamers have always gone, where prospectors flashed aluminum pans in a river and expected it to return gold, where aspiring actresses drove across the country focused on one and not in a million. And when a Syrian refugee got his Wisconsin girlfriend pregnant and her parents were pretty upset and they had nowhere to go, they went west. And they had a son named Steve who created jobs with a small fruit company called Apple. That's the magic of California. That's why I'm running for governor. But we need a new California. And the next governor of California has two jobs. One, to keep the worst president ever out of our homes, out of our streets, and out of our lives. I want to read you something, if you don't mind. Terrible things are happening outside. At any time of night and day, poor, helpless people are being dragged out of their homes. Families are torn apart. Children come home from school to find that their parents have disappeared. Women return from shopping to find their houses sealed, their families gone. Even though that describes California now, it wasn't written here. It was written in Germany, in a diary by a woman named Anne Frank. And while that time is incomparable to any time in the world, what we have seen in the last couple weeks was always going to happen. When you send masked agents into a community to terrorize people, Renee Good was always going to end up dead. It started with ICE agents chasing our friends and neighbors through the fields and the factories where they work. And then a 6-year-old battling stage 4 cancer, US citizen, was deported. Women being dragged by their hair and pulled through the streets. And we ask ourselves, will Miss Good be the last person killed? And none of us can say with confidence that she will be. You know what I told my wife? From everything I know about Miss Good, and when I saw her in the video today, said, I'm not mad at you, dude. You're cool. To the ICE agent right before she was shot 3 times in the face, I told my wife, if Miss Good lived in Santa Monica and she was alive, she'd probably be at this town hall tonight. She could have been any of you, going to bear witness on behalf of the most vulnerable people who can't come out in public. But we're not helpless. And my promise to you as the next governor of California is I will do everything to take away the immunity that makes these guys think they're invincible, to use law enforcement powers that we have to prosecute them when they commit false imprisonment, kidnapping, battery, assault, murder.
Assassination.
And we're going to have a new policy in the state. I'm calling it reveal to wheel. If you are an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent and you operate with a mask on, you're losing your driver's license. We have to go on offense against these guys. They only understand one language. It's the language of strength. And if we are not on offense, the most vulnerable in our communities are on defense. The second part of the job description is to bring a new California and to be the CEO of lowering costs. And that's what I'm going to do. You know, the biggest betrayal of this president is that he has done the exact opposite of what he promised. Politicians make and break promises all the time. Happens all the time. Sometimes they were good-natured when they made them, just couldn't fulfill them. This guy said he was going to lower prices on day one. Everyone here would say, Mr. President, you are 0 for 350. And not only has he not lowered prices, he's done the exact opposite with his stupid tariff tax. And so in California, we say all the time we're the 4th largest economy in the world. That's great. It's something I say with pride. But when I'm governor, when you say it, it's going to mean something to you because you're a shareholder of it. Going to war with Venezuela or Greenland ranks around 200th on the list of priorities for Californians. When you go to Ralph's, you can't say, hey, put this on Greenland's tab. Or when you pay your landlord, you can't say, bill it to Venezuela. The president has taken his eye off the ball, and I will do everything as the next governor to lower costs on health care, I proudly voted yesterday to put back in place the ACA subsidies. So did Jimmy Gomez. But 70 times Republicans, since I've been in Congress, have put up votes to take away the Affordable Care Act. And 70 times I have voted to stop them. My promise to you is this: even if I am 6 feet under, I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, a Vegetarian, I will reach up from the soil to stop you from taking away health care. When you are healthy, you have 100 concerns in the world. When you're sick, you only have one: to get better. And that's the least the government could do, is to make it affordable and accessible. And I'm going to make us a state where California cares and California cures. And this president right now has declared war on cancer research. 40% cut to cancer research in a state with UCLA, UCSF. To me, a budget is not just a moral document, it's an IQ test. And you have to be the dumbest person in the world to punish a blue state governor and take away the hope that we'd find cures. As governor, I'm going to stand up a California research fund. I'm going to leverage the resources I have all over the world and ask Californians to be public ambassadors, go across the globe and get investments in California. We should be able to depend on our federal government to do this. They're not. And I'm not just Googling who is the foreign minister of whatever country. For 8 years, I oversaw the CIA in Congress. I went to 40 countries. I met with presidents, prime ministers, foreign ministers. My relationships will be California's relationships. And when they bet on California, we will all pay less for health care. Yeah. On housing. The average age of a first-time home buyer in California is 40 years old. And the average home costs about $1 million. That is insane. My promise is that we'll be a state where you can take your first job, have your first kid, and buy your first home, God forbid, in the same decade. But right now, in California, we have 400,000 regulations, adding approximately 1,000 new regulations a year. We need regulations. Many of them are good-natured and good-intentioned. But California is a blue state held down by red tape. It's a blue state held down by red tape. On day one, I'm going to declare a housing emergency. This governor has declared an emergency in Altadena and the Palisades. And I want to talk about that in a moment. What I will do in all 58 counties is what he's done in those 2 communities. I'm going to tell every agency, you have 90 days to approve or deny every outstanding housing application in front of you. We're going to build houses like crazy in California. It should only take a couple of months to get a home built. And if it takes you longer than a couple of months, the governor's office should come and help you put up the drywall. Period. There's a lot to talk about tonight. And before we get to questions, I just want to acknowledge how hard of a week it has been for you all. I know every single person here tonight. If you didn't lose your home, you know somebody who did. And you likely know many people who did. And I've been moved and inspired by how this community has come together for each other. And how you believe that there is a second act for Los Angeles that we all can be a part of and we all can believe in. And I'll take in your questions what I can do as governor to accelerate the redevelopment that has to happen in your communities. But during this week of remembrance, I just wish you all the best in the renewal and the new story that you're going to write, and to thank the first responders. Some are here tonight helping us, Santa Monica Police Department, but also the firefighters, the EMTs, the people who were at their best when we faced in this area the worst. And finally, I just want to acknowledge some of the community leaders who are here tonight. Of course, our campaign chair, Jimmy Gomez. We have the mayor of Santa Monica. Where is she? She's still here? She might have stepped out. Mayor Caroline Terosis. Did I say that right? We have May Thurard, Santa Monica High School senior. Barry Snell, Santa Monica City Council member. Natalia Zernitskaya, Santa Monica Council member. Anastasia Foster, Community College Board member. Phyllis Duddick, Rent Control Board. Danny Ivanov, hi Phyllis, Rent Control Board. Erica Leslie, Rent Control Board. Elle Guggenheim, she was the sophomore who performed for us the national anthem. Ellie Raskin, Santa Monica Council member. And just a general shout out to our volunteers and our interns here who have helped make tonight happen on such short notice. So I don't listen to polls, I listen to people. And that's what tonight is about. I have not screened any of the questions. You can truly ask me anything. And I'm going to turn it over now to, I think, Susan. And we have a special question for the first two questions from some local students. So, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Hello, Congressman.
Yeah.
My name is Sanjay, and I currently serve as the National President of the College Democrats of America.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you, Sanjay.
And today, I am joined by Santa Monica High School's very own May, who will be asking you a couple of questions today.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, hi. It's very nice to meet you.
What year are you?
I'm a senior.
Okay.
Here.
That's great. You're a senior and you're at school on a Friday night? Okay. All right.
So coming from a family with strong ties to law enforcement and Republican values, what influenced you to choose politics as a Democrat?
I just thought they had better ideas. At first, it was probably to antagonize my parents a little bit. My mom and dad, by the way, they would have to watch me. I would have to go on Fox News if I wanted them to see me on TV. But I'll be honest with you, I grew up with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because I lived in this town called Dublin, and everyone around us in the wealthier cities, Pleasanton, Danville, San Ramon, when I played soccer as a kid in their cities, I learned that they called us scrublin. And we were a place of low income and lower expectations. And I went off to college and law school and came back to Dublin, as Jimmy mentioned in his intro, because I wanted to be a part of a city that had gone into Renaissance. And I also just learned in college and law school, interning for my member of Congress, Ellen Tauscher, I felt like Democrats at our best, we believed that we should have a strong foundation for every person in good education, good job training, good health care, but no ceiling as far as where they could go. And I felt Republicans, too often gave shortcuts or a shorter path to the wealthier folks. So I came home and had an opportunity in Dublin as a planning commissioner and city council member to invest in new housing. We put builders, developers, and labor together to double the size of the city, a lot of it affordable and market rate blended housing. The high school that I graduated from, once we did that, and we added new small businesses and Fortune 500 companies, in 1999 when I graduated from there, 25% of us went to college. Today, 96% of the kids go to college. And so I was passionate about making sure that every kid, not just the kids in Pleasanton and San Ramon and Danville, had an opportunity to go to college. And I felt like the Democratic Party was the party that best represented that value.
Bingo.
Bingo. I heard about this. Okay. I can put some games together too if my staff wants to go there.
And our staffs are.
And the first question?
Our staff is coming around to get the bingo winners prizes.
Do you have another question? Yeah.
You were deeply involved in the January 6th investigation.
Yeah.
What motivated you to take on that role, and what makes you think that work still matters today?
Yeah, and Jimmy and I were in the chamber that day. Jimmy was in the gallery, which was the worst place to be because they were trapped and they were the last to leave. But as a former prosecutor. I was a prosecutor for 7 years in Oakland. First, I believe in. That's good. That's good.
Raise that high.
I believe in accountability. And I wanted to defend the honor of those police officers. And so I asked Speaker Pelosi if she would put me on the impeachment team. And I wanted to bring justice and make sure that the monster that sent the mob to the Capitol, most importantly, could never be in office again. And even today, the sounds and the noises of that day, which Jimmy and I were in the chamber, and it was just, that's what you could hear. There's no windows in the chamber, so you just hear the pounding on the doors and the shouting of the mob as they had broken through every barrier, and just never wanting that to happen again in our country. And what upsets me about January 6th is we saw it with our own eyes. There's 3 days since the Civil War that are the most important days in American history. December 7, 1941, September 11, and January 6th. I don't even have to tell you the years of the last two because we saw it with our own eyes. And right now, Republicans are trying to erase the heroism of the officers. They're trying to make the heroes the villains, and the villains who they've released into our community, 1,600 of them, many of them violent, they're trying to make them the heroes. And so the reason we remember is to make sure we don't repeat. And I just want you to imagine, for anyone who was a Republican, again, I was raised by Republicans, what if George Bush, 10 minutes before the planes flew into the towers, was at Battery Park rooting on and cheering for the planes? Would we say that's something we wouldn't want to remember? Or would we say, no, we should hold that person accountable? And so I'm never going to forget what they did on January 6th. And I'm going to make sure that when it's settled, we know who the heroes were, we knew who sent the mob there, and that we never put ourselves as a country in a position like that again.
For my next question, do you have any advice to give to young people who
Yes.
want to get engaged in public service and policymaking?
Yeah. You have two hands. First, as often as you can right now in your career, reach up. Look for mentors. Find mentors. Seek them out. I had a high school teacher who was my mentor when I got injured after a soccer injury and lost my soccer scholarship. He told me the world wasn't over and encouraged me to go intern on Capitol Hill. He's been with me in every major decision in my life. In Congress, my two mentors have been Nancy Pelosi, who's like my work mom, and Adam Schiff, your local congressman, now senator. But you have another hand, and once you get solid footing in your career or whatever you want to do, use the other hand and reach down and lift up. And don't forget that you counted on mentors. I think you'll find it's just as fulfilling to help somebody else, and it's just as developmental for you when you help someone else to lift them up as well. So my advice is to you is you have both hands, reach up and find mentors, and then reach down and pull others up. So, okay.
And I have a couple for you, but
Yeah.
before that, can we give a huge round of applause to our incredible...
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, this is a water. It looks like a beer. I was drinking one of these the other day at a festival, and this nice man came over to me with a koozie, and he said, "Sir, if you want to cover that up." I said, No, it's just a, thanks for looking out, but it's just a water. I may ask for a beer in about an hour, but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, before I start, I just have a little lighthearted game, but I want to make sure that we raffle off our first speakers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull out 6 tickets. All of you get your tickets ready, because we're going to be running through these really quick. So, for the first one, I have 1427452. I'm going to repeat it one more time.
It was right behind you. Yeah.
Oh, right there?
Yep.
Do you mind if you can go
Yep.
up to one of the mics over there and line up for
Yep.
us? Thank you. And the next one is 1427435.
Stand up if it's you.
Stand up if it's you, and then head right over to the mic. Next one is 1427455. We got next one is 1427397. We have 1427437. And lastly, 1427456.
Great. Okay.
Couple more?
We only have one here.
Do you guys mind if you circle over there as well?
Go ahead. Yeah, we have a couple more.
Sanjay, you're good to keep reading off 2 more numbers.
Sounds good. 1427436.
And a trick I learned with you, Sanjay, if you just read the last 3 numbers. Yeah.
427.
Yeah.
427.
Yeah.
427, anyone?
All right, Sanjay, you're ready to start your game.
Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
No, sorry, we have one
Oh,
quick, lighthearted.
go ahead,
Really quick.
Sanjay. Yeah.
So your campaign tells me that you're a big fan of Taylor Swift, right?
Correct.
So we've put together a little game.
Okay.
Where I'm going to be running through a list of quotes. You're going to have to guess: are they Taylor Swift or Donald Trump?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is pretty tough. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
Donald Trump. Yeah. Donald Trump. Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay.
Off to a great start. Second one is I'm a nightmare dressed as a daydream.
That's Taylor Swift. Come on. Challenge me.
Okay. I never trust a narcissist, but they love me. How about that one?
Taylor Swift.
That's correct. The next one that I have is people are going to judge you anyway, so you might as well do what you want.
Does the crowd have any?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift.
That's correct.
Phone a friend or 2. Yeah.
And the final one that I have for you, I think you gotta get this one. Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot?
She's still hot, and that's Donald Trump. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing along.
Yeah, of course. Okay, please.
Hi, I'm Beth Clark. I'm a Santa Monica high school mom, also a teacher with LA Unified, and big activist with UTLA.
Yeah.
United Teachers of Los Angeles, just
Yeah.
repeat it now. So, anyway, I have been becoming more and more fearful for my family, my friends, my community, locally as well as nationally. As we can see, Trump's unilaterally invading countries without congressional approval. He's threatening additional countries. He's condoning the unforgivable murders. Of Renee Good and Keith Porter by ICE agents. Additionally, he and his agents of hate are getting away with corruption. And I honestly feel like we could be walking the streets and not be safe.
Yeah.
I also feel like with his invasions, without being checked by anyone, we're heading toward World War III.
Yeah.
I've been reading, I've been going back into my books, and I've been reading All the President's Men, The Final Days, and literally we're repeating history right now. And Nixon, fortunately, finally got checked. It took a lot because the FBI and the CIA, everyone was corrupt under him. What are you doing right now? Because when you're governor, it could be too late. What are you doing right now to get, I'm sorry, I'm just going to cuss right now, to get that asshole out?
So, staying on offense, and I want to walk you through what I have done and what I will do. After the Russia interference campaign, Adam Schiff and I were 2 of the only prosecutors in Congress, and so Nancy Pelosi asked us to lead that investigation. Was a part of both impeachments and an impeachment manager in the second impeachment. We got 7 Republicans to join us, but we came up short. But we convicted him. In the jury of history, he's convicted, but he was able to come back into office. I have the only lawsuit that has survived him becoming president. It's me and the January 6th officers. It's the only lawsuit that survived. And because of the Clinton v. Jones case, he cannot escape it as president. It says that if you did something that's outside your scope of duties as president, Supreme Court case, you have to face it as president. So we have actually deposed people in the administration. We're going to trial. We're going to win at trial. We're going to get accountability for those officers. I am leading the January 6th committee on the Democratic side in Congress as they try and rewrite what's happening. I introduced legislation today to strip ICE of their immunity. These guys think they're invincible right now. And by the way, I'm the son of a cop. I'm a brother to 2 police officers. I was a prosecutor. I will always have the back of good law enforcement. These guys put good law enforcement at risk. My brothers are less safe because people just lump them all together. And so he's actually putting good law enforcement officers at risk with what he's doing. I am focused like hell on winning the midterms. Winning is a decision, and I've made the decision to do everything to win this race and to win the midterms. And you all, by the way, you all, thank you for passing Prop 50. In 90 days, we turned around what Texas did, and we passed Prop 50. So we can't do enough. And what I tell my wife all the time, when someone reaches out and says, I think you should stop talking about Trump, or you should be easier on Trump, I tell her, in 5 years, 10 years from now, nobody is going to say, do you think we are too hard on him? We are all going to ask ourselves, did we do enough? And as we vote in the next week or so, when we get back to Washington, on funding the government, I'm not paying for ICE officers to shoot moms in the face. And I'm not voting for that. And I'm not voting for ICE funding. I'm not voting for ICE funding. I'm not voting for Border Patrol funding. I'm not voting for anything that continues what you just described. But I also know we can see through and beyond this guy. That he does not define us. That we're better than this. And we're going to prove it in the midterms when he's going to get a big ass kicking from the American people, coast to coast. How you doing?
Thank you for being
Of course.
here tonight.
My pleasure.
My name's Jen Roberts, and I recently moved to the Delray neighborhood with my partner Eric, over there. And we were fortunate enough to be able to buy a home, but then we became face to face with the property insurance crisis.
Yeah.
It's one thing that you were talking about how few people are able to buy homes in California these days, and then if you actually are able to do it, how do you even get property insurance, let alone afford it? And then once you have it, is it really going to be there when you need it?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, like, specifically, what would you do to try to alleviate the crisis that's there for property insurance?
First, more competition, and it's a great question, and you're right, that if you can afford to cobble together a down payment, and young people in California with student loan debt and their debt to income ratio hurting their ability to do that, like, you still have, as you said, property insurance, which is a big barrier to becoming a homeowner. So first and foremost, more competition. Right now, if you are an insurer who leaves the state, there's a 36-month penalty before you can come back in. We need to bring more competition in immediately. Reducing wildfire risk. We have to get inventive. Part of my plan is called Wood for Good. We have the most forest area in the whole country. And in the highest wildfire risk areas, what I will do as governor is work with environmentally sound milling companies to mitigate the fire risk. So it's a for as far as I see it. You're going to mitigate the fire risk, bring down the insurance costs because we're taking one of the risk factors off the table. We're going to set aside the soft lumber that comes from that milling to bring down construction costs in California because we're importing too much soft lumber from Canada, and we're going to create new jobs. So I'm looking at this as inventive of a way as possible to bring down costs, to bring in new revenue for the state, to regrow every time you mill and thin to prevent wildfire. But in the highest risk areas, we don't just have to take on the risk. I think we can, as I said, turn it around and have a wood for good program. So we're looking at that right now, but competition is important. I also have to tell you, I am open as to whether or not the insurance commissioner should be an elected position. I don't, doesn't feel like that's a person that you just want to leave to chance. It seems like you would be better served if the governor could appoint somebody who is an expert and has no capture by the insurance companies for that job.
You know me,
Yeah.
it's Ingrid Van Eckert.
Yeah.
I am
Hi,
the Vice
Ingrid.
President
Yeah.
with the Grassroots Democrats HQ. My people are sitting right
I see Eve. Eve was here earlier.
Just if I may
Yeah.
quickly.
Tell us what is Grassroots Democrats HQ?
Grassroots Democrats HQ, I have to say, has been supported by our fabulous Eric Swalwell for many years.
Yeah.
He's one of our greatest supporters because he knows we do the hard field work to get Democrats elected.
Yeah.
And since 2018, and we've been very successful and we will never give up. So anyway, Eric, I have a question. If by some amazing coincidence or through hard work, we get a majority in Congress now, in other words,
Yeah.
I know someone just died, which no one wants that, but it did bring us down to two
Yeah.
votes. If for some reason special elections happen because more Republicans will be leaving as soon as they have a great paying job,
Yeah.
some lobbyist that, someone is gonna hire them, and we're gonna have a majority of Democrats, do we have to wait till next year, January 1, or can we then immediately have Hakeem Jeffrey be our speaker?
Hakeem Jeffries could be the speaker on Monday. I mean, the margins are that thin.
Yes.
And these guys, frankly, as you see, they don't have their shit together. Like they have lost a lot of their own folks. Jimmy, how many Republicans voted for the Affordable Care Act subsidies? 19? 17? I mean, so by the way, Hakeem Jeffries is the Speaker of the House right now because he is, by discharge petitions that he's filing, he is legislating more than Speaker Johnson is, who it's a no-show speaker. He's turned his voting card over to the White House. And so the margins are that thin. They're that thin right now. But we have at least 5 seats that we need to win in California. And I will be with you all after June going to those new districts. There's one in Southern California that goes all the way out to Palm Springs, Palm Desert. And we have a number of great candidates running in that seat. We have a seat up in Northern California. We have a Central Valley seat. So you don't have to drive more than 2 hours from where you sit right now to volunteer. And again, just another shout out to Grassroots Democrats HQ. Yes. They have thousands of volunteers and they do something that's so important. They pay their high school and college students. And that's where the contributions go, is to make sure that they can be paid and still do the work. Yes, sir.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Paul Pompeo.
Hey, Paul.
I am not related to Mike Pompeo.
Sorry you have to say that.
I'm just going to make a first comment. I
Yeah.
actually lived 7 blocks from the White House when the insurrection happened.
Oh.
And so I will tell everybody here,
Yeah.
it was really, really scary.
Yeah.
And all of those people were staying in my neighborhood, so it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I was originally going to ask you a question
Yeah.
about homelessness.
Yeah.
But today I ended up having to pay my quarterly taxes, and so I changed my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about soft secession?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you're referring to California is a donor state. And when there were hurricanes in Carolina, Florida, Georgia, we all proudly saw our taxpayer dollars go to the rebuilding of those communities. When there were fires in Los Angeles, we weren't shown the same generosity by this president. He, in fact, has not fully delivered the FEMA money that we're eligible for. People who lost everything, who were hoping that the generosity that we showed would be given back, was not shown. Cancer research funding, energy funding, infrastructure and jobs funding, it's all been taken away. And I will tell you, as governor, I reserve the right, with the consent of the state and the people behind me, to do everything possible to fight for Californians. And I think you know me, I'm not shy. I'm not afraid to be aggressive when it's on behalf of people who are being targeted. And so I'm not taking anything off the table. I will also tell you though, my default with this guy will be to put my hand out and say, how can we work together? I don't wake up every morning seeking to fight Donald Trump. I wake up seeking to fight for Californians. He just gets in the way. But I passed legislation just 3 weeks ago that he signed into law, and it was only one of 20 bills that were signed into law in the last Congress. And I worked with Jimmy Gomez on this, who's the chair of the Dad's Caucus. I'll just tell you what it is, because you're probably wondering, like, what Democratic bill did he sign into law? When women go to airports, and I've seen this with my own wife and our own kids, and they're breastfeeding, they're treated like terrorists. Their breast milk is pulled aside, it's opened up, it's tested. Anyone with kids knows that when you're moving through an airport with little kids, you just need to keep moving. And so you're slowing down the line, kids are freaking out, and moms feel awful. And something that happened to my wife was she works, or a two-income family. She wouldn't call my job a job. She says she has a job, I have a hobby. But she is traveling for her job without the kids, and she has the breast milk tested, and the TSA officer says, if you really have kids, like, where are they? And as you know, when you're breastfeeding, you're still pumping whether you're with the kids or not. So I wrote legislation to get rid of that process and make it easier for traveling moms to not be harassed. Republicans signed on to it. The president signed it into law. And so, again, on any issue, from something as, discreet as that to getting FEMA relief, I will seek to work with him. But I'm not Pollyannish. I'm not naive. I know who this guy is, and I'm not afraid to stand up to him if he's going to try and go against the most vulnerable in our state. Yes, sir.
My name is Mark Hurley, and
Hey, Mark.
wanted to start out by saying, who in their right mind would want to be governor of California? And we have so many unsolvable problems.
Yeah.
It's so hard. But I have two questions. One is, I've admired you as a congressman, but you have to do a totally different job as a governor. And can you address that? And also, can you reassure us that you're just not using California as a springboard to run for president?
Yes. And by the way, if you talk to my wife, she would say, if the worst thing that happens is you make hard decisions, you piss a bunch of people off and they don't want you to come back for a second term, don't threaten us with a good time. So I'm approaching this liberated by, I don't need to do this. I have a safe seat in Congress. I would be the next Democrat to be the chair of the Homeland Security when the current Democrat were to leave Congress. So I have a good position there. I don't need this. I want to do it because I see this great state under attack by a bully who I know how to stand up to. But I also see the goodness in all of us, that we don't have to be defined by the moment that he has put us in. And there's so much more we can do on the cost crisis, on growing small businesses, on maxing out democracy, that I have done as a city councilman in Congress and want to do on behalf of the people of the state. So yes, I make that promise to you, but I want to be, as I said, the CEO of lowering costs. A president got elected because he said he would do that on day one. I want to actually do that in this fourth largest economy in the world. And as I said, I want that to mean something to everyone. That's kind of the mandate I've given myself, or the deadline I've given myself, is you have to bring down costs of this great state. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I'm lived in Santa Monica for 35 years, and I've been a mom of 3 kids who went through this high school. 2 of them went off to Berkeley. One of them out of state. They can't come home. They can't afford to come back and live in Santa Monica. So when I hear we're going to build more homes, that's like 60 miles east. You know? And that's not home. That's like Burlington, Vermont is my home. You know, so I could go there and find the house. They turn over, they're affordable. And so then what we see is Lincoln Boulevard with all.
Tell me about Lincoln Boulevard.
What?
So tell me about it.
It's the main drag from the airport. I used to when I first moved here, I would be like, Lincoln Boulevard, God, what, you know, it's the ugliest street. And you're just thinking, come to California, and it is literally, but it's, so south of the 10, which is really kind of hilarious. I mean, not hilarious, but sorry. I mean, has turned into this kind of like lovely little, you know, it feels like more mom and pop stores, you know, some like really great restaurants, that kind of thing. North of the 10 is like these apartment buildings that are fulfilling the quota of building new houses that has like 10% to low-income families. And then I don't even know who are renting them and if they're rented. And it's really hurt the mom and pop smaller buildings because, they have to lower their rent because, I don't know. The thing is, there are no affordable condos. And nobody, like, why aren't they negotiating builders to come in and either build co-ops, like in New York and Copenhagen, and, you know, so that the kids can buy, you know, people can buy their own place, build them some equity, but at least take pride in that they have ownership in the community. And there's just never any talk of that. And now, by the way, if you drive down Lincoln Boulevard, north of the 10, you can't even see the sun. And it's, so how can you address that issue and housing and building for the local communities, like, you know, this side of...
And so I would tell you, as a former council member and a former planning commissioner, I understand, like, one state housing plan does not fit every community. However, it takes too damn long to build housing in California. And so if, as I said, by putting a deadline in place, a 90-day deadline, you will force a surge of housing. You'll force decisions. I strongly believe, as somebody who's been in all levels of government, a goal without a deadline is a dream. And I'm not here to dream. I'm here to get shit done. So that's what I'm going to do first as it relates to housing. I think I told you a little bit about trying to bring down the materials cost on soft lumber, which is a big driver to build. I also want to surge small businesses. And I talked to your council members. I've talked to your mayor before I came out here. And I'm aware of, you know, some of the challenges here and their goals, as they called it, to have renaissance here in economic development. My economic development plan, because we have the highest unemployment rate in the country, and we have one of the slowest rates of new small businesses in the country. We're going to have a tax holiday for the first 3 years for every small business, 25 employees and under. And the bet I'm going to make is that if you're a small business and you focus in those first 3 years on hiring, getting a business plan, getting from post-revenue to post-profit, you'll increase the business-to-business revenue around you, and you'll provide a long-term funding stream for the state with an onslaught of new businesses that can pay for healthcare, public safety, education, UTLA. So having an economic development plan that, you know, again, it's a little chicken and the egg in that you need rooftops to have economic development, but you also need people who want to come in with economic development when the rooftops come. And so having done this in one of the best turnaround stories in California, Dublin, I will project that across the state. I also want our teachers and those who work in the schools to be able to live near the school. And so having workforce housing is going to be a big priority for me. But I get it. At the core of your question, you're just a mom who wants your kids to be able to afford to live where they're raised.
The permits for
Yeah.
these apartment buildings, they get handed out by someone.
Yeah.
And why isn't there a percentage where it's stated, this has to be like a co-op
Yeah.
or a RIT or individual condos?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just like, it just feels so.
Yep.
And again, teachers and our policemen and the firemen and
Yeah.
our social, I mean, they don't want to be renters in this town either.
Yeah. We have police officers and firefighters who commute from Idaho. No, I'm not kidding
No,
you.
I know that.
They can't afford to live here, and they're commuting Nashville, Nevada, Idaho. I mean, we have driven out like the people who, again, I think in a community, those you hold up the most are your police, your fire, your teachers, your nurses, like the people who take care of us. And if they have to drive an hour or fly an hour, like that's not valuing them. And so I will always see them first when I'm thinking about who do we help and how do we do it. So thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sanjay, you did a great job. I'm going to stick around. I'm going to be around for a while. So ask me a question. Thank you for informing me, as I said, on what the issues are that you're facing. Again, I just want to reiterate, we're going to get through this. I have confidence in you that we are going to get through this. Terrible president is because he is a terrible person. I see that, you see that, and I'm tired of hearing him say, "Make America great again," when all we want is to be good again, and decent again, and kind again, and to be able to greet somebody at the coffee shop and just say good morning without thinking at all about the person's politics. I believe California will always be a state that can fight for a child that can barely make a fist. That will be a state that lowers costs and maybe even raises hope. That we will be a state that protects women's rights and never allows a 37-year-old mom of 3 to be shot in the face by ICE agents. That couple that I told you about, Eric and Vicky, they were my parents. And I say was because a couple months ago, my mom broke my heart. She passed away from lung cancer. And there's something crazy about losing a mom because you realize no one loves us like our moms. After all, they have a 9-month head start on everyone else. And the best moms never relinquish that lead. And the last thing my mom text messaged me before she passed, she asked me if I was eating. And I think that you don't have to be a mom to ask that basic question of someone you care about. And that's something we should all be doing and looking out for each other. Asking, do you have enough to eat? Do you have shelter if you don't have a home? Do you want to stay at my house if ICE agents unlawfully are coming after you? I am my brother's keeper, and you are mine. And that's what we do as Californians. This country has been rebuilt over and over and over again. And it always starts in the same place, here in California. That's why I'm running for governor. And I hope you join me in writing that new California story. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
That was great. Eric, I'm going to come this way.
Okay.
Folks are going to line up, so I don't want you to stop.
Do you want to grab the cards?
Thank you so much for coming out. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Hope to see you again.
Before I hurt myself.